Hello, everybody.
Yeah, welcome back. We are doing
Welcome.
we're doing a new story today. I mean, we did Wendigos last time, so we're trying to we're gonna
Skinwalker
do a
this time.
Skinwalk. Yeah, we try to jump
It's
into
like a creature
something.
feature.
Yeah, we're gonna do some creature features. I mean, we've been
Feature
on a
within feature.
track, and I felt like the last story was a little kind of underwhelming in my opinion.
Yeah,
So I wanted something a little more snappy.
yeah. This from the creepypasta website actually. There's a lot of good stuff on here. I remember this shit. This from when I was younger, when I was a little kid actually.
Yeah, I didn't pick this
Awesome.
one. Ben picked this one, so
Yup.
we're gonna see
I
what it's
haven't read it
like.
before.
Yeah. All right, Ben, take it
The
away.
Skinwalker. My father told me a story once. I'll never forget it. For a few reasons. I think it's the first story he ever told me as a child. It's also the story of how my grandfather died. But honestly, that isn't the reason. You hear stories on TV, or sometimes you overhear something in a public place. People talk about ghosts and aliens, and you think to yourself, that ain't real. They're making it up. Or they're mistaken, or they're crazy. Or something like that. You just can't believe it. That's it. Until something happens. Something that brings it all together. Connects the dots in a way you didn't think of before. Maybe it happens to you. Or maybe you hear the same story again and again from different people. It doesn't take long for the world to become a lot bigger than you thought it was.
As I said, this is a story my father told me, but I never believed it, even though he swore up and down it was true. It wasn't until I started clicking around the internet that I started to believe. I started to hear other stories just like the one my father told me. It didn't take me long to believe after that. That's not what my father. Oh, you want to do this one? You want me? Let me do this one. You
Uh,
can do the next one.
okay.
That's not what my father called it, of course. He's never used the internet in his life. He wouldn't know what the online community had taken to calling it, when he chose to call it something other than it, or that thing. He called it a skinwalker after an oh he called it a
Here,
skinwalker after an old Cher- was that
Cherokee?
Cherokee tale his grandfather told him. I'm assuming that's like native.
Yeah. But
But
I'll tell you the story the way he told it to me. We were out hunting one night in the woods surrounding the dairy farm in Ohio where we lived at the time, he'd tell me. We were tracking coyotes. We'd kill 'em for 50 bucks a skin. They'd kill calves sometimes. We'd do it every night because we needed the money. Sometimes, while we were out, we'd come on a deer and kill it. Our landlord didn't mind, and it could feed our family for a few nights and save us some money. Anyway, we were done making our rounds and heading home, walking because we didn't have a car or four-wheeler back then. We cut through the woods. That's when we came upon it.
blood everywhere, splattered on the trees, in the grass, in the creek, everywhere. At first, we figured it was a pack of coyotes. We'd seen how sometimes, when they weren't able to scavenge for whatever reason, they'd start hunting deer or cattle out of desperation. The worst was when they bred with feral dogs, but this wasn't like that. You see, when a pack of dogs, wolves, or coyotes attack something, they do it right. They'll pick off one that's weak, sick, or old, or just small. They'll hunt it, draw it, draw it into a corner, someplace it can't get out of, and they'll run it right to the biggest one, the alpha. And that deer will never see that alpha. What does that mean?
Um, like they run it to the leader, and then he'll like ambush it.
Is that what he's
Like
like?
they,
Okay,
I think that's what he's implying
that's what
here.
I was thinking, but it just I don't know, came off kind of weird.
Yeah, they'll never see the alpha.
You never see the alpha.
Yuck.
He's like a shadow in the night.
It's like a shadow. His name is Furry Claw.
He's reading on too much Reddit, man. It might hear it, but it won't see it. All of a sudden, its throat will be torn out. It'll drop dead. It's quick and it's clean. That wasn't what happened here.
Something had come upon a group of deer. Coyotes won't attack a group. Wolves wouldn't either. They'd get too much of a fight. There were three. I think. Three bodies, just torn apart. You'd see a head or a torso here, a leg there. Predators don't do that. They don't leave scraps behind. Whatever had done this hadn't done it for food. It had done it for fun. But we didn't know that at the time. Of course, we just saw a bunch of carcasses and figured it's something we had to take care of. I remember my dad telling me to go home that he thought it was the work of a pack of feral dogs, but I wasn't leaving him, and I damn sure wasn't hiking through 2 miles of woods alone, in the dark, with nothing but a 22 and a pocket knife. I was only 13 at the time, so a 22 rifle was the only gun I could reliably use. Dad had the shotgun, and I wasn't going anywhere without it or him.
Could you imagine your dad just being like, "Yeah, I don't know, man. Go back home. I'll figure this shit out." You're like
And then, bro,
13, bro.
some hard ass fucking like in a woods people, bro.
Huh? What? What?
Go back home by myself. That'd be
Oh
fucked.
my god, that's fucking funny. It took me a while to convince him, but finally we began tracking whatever did that. It wasn't hard either. We just followed the blood. Either that thing bled deer before it got away, or it dragged one for a mile. I don't know what to do. No, bro, why do you put a okay, hang on.
I don't know.
I don't know. What I do know is that I'd never see my dad scared before that night. We started hearing the most horrible sounds. Now I've been in a lot of woods in my life, and I've been all over the world, but I ain't never heard noises like I heard that night. I heard things screaming.
Damn. I heard deer, fox, rabbits, raccoons, and birds. All of them afraid of something and hightailing it. Keep in mind, this is maybe 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. Except for the fox and some birds, nothing was supposed to be awake at that hour. But they weren't just awake, mind you. They were on the run. That night, I saw flocks of birds flying straight into the trees trying to escape something. We came. Okay, yeah, I see birds flying in the middle of the night. We came upon a pack of coyotes and nearly shot a couple, thinking they had their eyes on us. But then we saw they were running in from someone. Nothing toward us. Nothing toward us? They didn't even notice us and they went right past. Then some deer did the same. Then some rabbits, squirrels, and foxes. Even a couple of wild hogs. These critters were supposed to be hunting each other, and the only thing they cared about was getting as far away from there as possible.
We should have put two and two together. That maybe whatever we were tracking wasn't something we were supposed to see, and it wasn't something we could kill. To this day, I don't know why we didn't just go home. I guess we were curious. I think that was my dad's nature. To go toward trouble, to fight, and being aware of things my father did during the war. I figured it was best to stay by his side. We finally reached an open valley. It was normally a soy field. Okay. But it wasn't in season. So it was just flat dirt. That's when we saw the tracks. Animals fleeing the forest had leveled everything in their path. But where that deer blood was, nothing had taken a single step. It was like whatever was responsible had left it for us to find.
The tracks were shallow. Whatever it was couldn't have weighed more than 100 pounds. But that didn't mean much. A bobcat weighed 40 pounds, soaking wet. It can tear out your throat if you ain't careful. The fact this thing was on the lighter side just meant it was probably quick and was going to be tough to hit. So we followed the tracks, and it didn't take us long to find where they led. There's an old schoolhouse that sits on the top of a hill. Half of it had been ripped out by a tornado, but nobody lived there. Not for a long time. Sometimes we caught homeless people in there, or drug addicts, looking for a safe place to shoot up. We figured maybe that it was it. Maybe it was some sick kid riding a high, but we didn't think that for long.
Yeah, hang on. So is this in the woods or is this outside like a
Uh,
small town? I can.
I'm guessing this is an old story. It's 2013. Is like on creepypasta, and I'm assuming it's old schoolhouse in the. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, see, like that doesn't make sense. What? Why was there like he's implying that they're like deep in the woods, and
I
there's just like an old schoolhouse, just like
do you know the SCP subreddit where like people can sort of just like make whatever they want and like add it on there? That's kind of what creepypasta was, I think. Is like I'm assuming this guy isn't like a grade A writer, He probably didn't think that through. He just wanted like a place where the Skinwalker is like camped up.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. I got that. Like, it's not a big deal. It's just,
it doesn't make much sense. I know what you
yeah,
mean.
yeah.
That's fair.
It's still reading okay. There's just a couple things that I'm like, huh?
Birds flying in the middle of the night. Like you're not gonna
Yeah,
see that. You might
yeah.
hear a few. And it's like, yeah, the old schoolhouse
Uh,
torn up by tornado
and I think
in
like
the middle of the night as well.
I think even the part being like, yeah, you can walk back home, son, and you know, like that seems out of character for like a dad, especially if it's nighttime and he just see like something just
Yeah,
got ripped apart. It's
yeah,
like,
coyotes are just gonna turn to shit.
yeah,
Like
it
what?
being like, okay, just walk home alone. You're fine. It's
You're 13.
yeah, this
Yeah,
seems weird, but
yeah.
it's okay. Um, I'm right here, right?
Yep.
When we got to when we got to within 50 yards, we heard a noise, a sort of screech made up of two different sounds. One was high pitched, and another was a low growl. It was making both sounds at the same time, if that makes any sense. We approached to within 20 yards, and we heard another sound, different this time. I remember thinking that it sounded like paper being torn apart, while someone was swinging a water back. Huh? When someone was
Well, someone was
swinging a
swinging water.
water back and forth in a bucket. Oh, okay.
So like, just fucking. Some got ripped in half, bro. Yeah.
That's probably those homeless guys, man.
Damn. Dad looked at me, knelt down, and whispered. He told me I had to stay behind him because we're about to corner our prey. Any animal will fight when it's cornered, especially a predator. But we can tell by the tracks that there's only one. He tells me it's probably a single feral dog, most likely rabid. The plan, he said, was to sneak up on it while it was eating, shoot it, and then keep shooting it till it didn't move anymore. Then slit its throat. And if it got to Dad, it was my job to shoot or stab it to get it off him. So he walked up with me right behind him, just a tad to his side, so I can see what it is. I wish to this day I hadn't.
It was leaning over a carcass, tearing off its flesh and throwing what it didn't nibble at aside. There was a blood there was blood all over the brick, glistening in the moonlight. It was pale white and looked a little like a man, but not quite human. It had arms and legs like ours, but it sat like a monkey, hunched over, and its hands weren't normal. It had long fingers with claws at the end. So we saw that, and my dad hesitated. He wasn't about to fire at a person. What? So he
Um,
cleared his throat to try and get it to turn around.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. You just see this
Uh,
fucking thing like all looking all fucked up, eating something.
It's making some sounds,
Like,
like double
I
sounds,
mean, you're
like
hesitating, bro. That is not a person. Like, come on.
you just shoot that thing. And if you don't even want to kill it, shoot it in like the spine, lower back, so it can't run away. And if it's a person, it's like, okay, why were you eating that dead thing?
But
Yeah,
but also he implied his dad was like in the
a
military,
military
so like
guy.
yeah,
Like
that all.
he wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he wouldn't be hesitating.
Yeah,
I know guys like that. They're not going to be hesitating if they see
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. That's a demon.
Yeah, putting that thing's head
Like,
on my wall.
dude, that'd be sick. Having like fucking, uh, what are they called? They're not called creepypasta. Like, what are the monsters called? There's like you got Skinwalker, Wendigo.
Or
What do people like put that? Like, what are they generally categorized under?
like werewolves and stuff like that. Mhm.
Yeah, what are those considered?
Creatures or
Like yeah, there's a word I can't think of it. But like just imagine having like a trophy room just like full of like monsters.
that'd
Yeah,
be cool. That'd be a cool.
that'd be so sick.
That'd be a cool game.
That'd be a cool game, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking hunting monsters, getting trophies. Oh, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Okay. I swear to God Almighty, all the noise just ceased in an instant. I ain't ever heard true silence before that, and never again afterward. But for 2 seconds, nothing made any noise, and I mean nothing. This made it all the louder when that thing turned around, made this shrill cry, and pounced on Dad. He got a shot off. I think he missed. If he hit it, it didn't phase the thing at all. But it was on him, tearing entire parts of him off. I started shooting it with the 22 point blank, but the thing barely bled at all. I got off 5 rounds, and then I started hitting it with the butt end of the gun. Didn't budge or even register that it was there.
It was clawing at my dad, removing whole chunks of his flesh. It started on his torso, peeling off skin on his chest. And then it moved up. It tore out his throat, ripped his nose clean off, and gouged out his eyes. Then it scalped him. What? And
I don't know.
and it started digging. It started digging in. I stood there, helpless, as I ripped off the bottom half of his jaw, the bottom bones, and that tube in his neck, and then his ribs. Didn't he say his grandpa died at the start of the
No,
story? I thought he said his grandpa died.
I don't remember that.
We'll look at that after.
We'll go
Yeah,
back.
we'll look at that
Yeah.
after. I don't exactly remember what happened, but somehow my dad's knife ended up in the thing's shoulder, and my dad, what was left of him, hang on, that is, ended up on my back. Isn't he 13?
Oh yeah.
I was running,
But yeah,
and by God, I was going faster than I'd ever run before or after. Okay, hang on, pause.
he said his dad told him the story
Yeah,
at the start.
yeah, okay, so he said his dad told him the story.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Okay, doesn't matter. It's like people post on like websites. Obviously, he didn't think the story through too much. He was just trying to make a cool story, and
Yeah,
he did.
that's fine, but like continuity, bro.
He obviously didn't take any classes. It's fine.
You don't need to take classes. It's just like when I'm reading this, like obviously I'm gonna read this in one sitting, and then
Yeah,
it just pulls me out. You know what I mean? It's like I'm reading that, and I'm like,
I
wait,
know what you mean. But I'd expect like some guy trying to read some scary stories, getting stony baloney. He's gonna read this shit, be like, "Oh, it's fucking awesome," and like keep going to the next one. You know, he wouldn't even think about that.
okay.
Yeah,
And it
I think
was
you were.
and it was following me. I ended up back in the forest opposite the woods we started in. I was heading towards my landlord's house because it was the closest thing to help nearby. But even that was half a mile away.
All the while, I could hear this thing screeching and moaning. I heard branches cracking and getting thrown around. It was cracking so loud and often that it sounded like someone was taking an axe to every single tree I passed. But I never looked back, not once. The thought didn't even cross my mind. Finally, I tripped and fell into some gravel and looked up to see my landlord and a bunch of his buddies drinking around a campfire. Lucky bitch. I screamed and cried and they came over. I told them to call an ambulance and my landlord looked at me and said something I'll never forget.
What is that on your back? He asked me. Just as the words left his mouth, it dawned on him without my saying a word. It was one of those god awful flannel shirts my dad wore everywhere. He realized, and it was damn near all that was left of my dad, aside from a bit of my father's head and torso, that all there was absolutely nothing below the waist. Suddenly we heard it, the screeching. My landlord grabbed me, causing me to drop what's left of my dad on the ground, and I was fighting him, crying, because I thought we could still save him. Somehow, but the truth is, my dad had been gone well before I ever picked him up, and all I'd done was carry a corpse back home. My landlord had to pick me up and throw me inside before I would go with him.
So this 13-year-old boy, he outran a skinwalker while dragging his dad's corpse.
Apparently, this kid must be a fucking linebacker.
Bro,
That's all I'm
I was
saying.
gonna
Like,
say, it's a big fucking
I
child. I don't even
want,
think I could carry
yeah,
a fucking girl that far, that fast.
I want like a photo of this kid like next to this story
Bro,
next
hold
time.
on.
I want
Here we go. This is him.
Mega Knight.
Yeah, there he is. Fucking sick.
Yeah.
He and his buddies, all of us went inside together, and they locked the doors and got their guns. The landlord asked me, "What happened? What happened?" But I didn't know what to tell him. He pieced enough of it together to understand that there was something dangerous out there. All the lights in the house were on, and someone called the cops. They would get there as soon as they could, they said, but that meant in 15 minutes. We looked outside and saw it walk in front of the fire they'd made. No one knew what it was. One of them said it looked like an ape. Suddenly, something came crashing through the window. We all fired at it, but quickly realized it wasn't the thing. No, it was my landlord's dog. Well, his body, anyway. His head and legs were missing.
We had just started pushing things in front of the doors and windows to form a barricade when we heard something in the garage. I remember one of his friends saying that the doors were open. We heard metal and glass being ripped and smashed. We dragged the couch and TV in front of the door to the garage. For added measure, it banged around some more. But then it got quiet. Not silent like it was before. We could hear it move around some, and the guys were talking, making sure their guns were ready. Someone handed me a pistol. No sooner had I cocked the hammer back when we heard something shatter upstairs. Then we heard it screech again. Except this time it was louder, and it didn't echo and fade out, because it was inside.
We all rushed to the one door that led upstairs, and we got to it just as that thing did. It opened. It just a bit, and 4 or 5 men just slammed into it. It managed to get its hand through. Someone with a shotgun took care of that, put the barrel right up to its wrist and pulled the trigger, blew its hand clean off. That only pissed it off, though. Started shoving that door, clawing. We were on one side, pushing as best we could, and it was on the other, doing the same. The wood wasn't going to hold, so someone told us to keep our heads down. Suddenly, the top half of the door was gone, and my ears were ringing. There were splinters everywhere. 2 or 3 of them had just unloaded on the top of the door.
I don't really know where it went after that. The police got there. It was still glued to what was left of the door. Hang on.
What?
I read that wrong.
I was still glued. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I read that wrong. I was still glued to what was left of the door. The sun was up before they pried me loose, then put me in a hospital for a while. While I was there, a whole lot of people talked to me, but I didn't respond. Not for long time. When I got back home, I got a job for the landlord, working on the farm. We didn't talk much, not about the thing, but I signed up for the army when I was 19, and he sat me down to drink some scotch as he sent off. I asked him, right away, what the police told him. The story they went with was that it was a wild animal, probably a wolf, or maybe a bear, that had migrated north. I asked him how they could say that when they had the hand. He looked at me, stunned.
He told me that the hand never made it back to the station. The cop who had it in his car got into a wreck, drove into a tree, and died on impact. The hand was never found, likely taken by an animal. The cops, when they would acknowledge the hand existed at all, said it was simply the paw of a bear that resembled a man's. I never talked to the landlord again. He went missing while I was in basic training. Damn. And no one ever saw him again. There were rumors that he owed some people some money and skipped town, but I don't think it's that simple.
Well, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you read that.
As for me, I never went back to those woods. I wouldn't even if I had the whole goddamn U.S. Army at my back.
That was the extent of what my father told me about the incident in the woods. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I get it. So that's what happened to his dad.
That's
Okay.
what I was thinking too. But something like it wasn't established properly. You know what I mean? Like I was reading that as him. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't reading that as his dad because he didn't imply that that was his dad throughout any
At
of
the
that.
start, he did say, "I'm gonna read it as my father told me."
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I think
Or,
that
tell
might.
it as my father told me.
I feel like that could just be my bad, but I feel like there should be a little more like adding to that so I can get a better of understanding that it's his dad. Because like I was getting a little
That's
confused there.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a little turned around as well.
Overall,
It's
like
fine, though.
overall, it was like that first. That's the first part, right?
What
Or is
do
this
you mean?
was that the first part? Or is that the end of it?
That's the end of the story that's told, and this is just like the rest of it.
Okay.
This is the guy talking. This is the guy now.
Okay. So now we're back to the actual guy.
Yeah.
So that first part was really good. I think there was some things that kind of were like, yeah,
But still, I enjoyed it. I liked I was visualizing pretty good in my head
yeah.
from the story.
Yeah, I think there was a couple things that pulled me out a little bit that like weren't huge things. Like there were things that could be changed. And the schoolhouse thing. The schoolhouse thing was weird.
That, and the landlord was like what, a mile away. How do you know where the landlord was in the middle of the forest, like in the middle of the night, and he dragged his dad's body while he's
Yeah.
13? Is like,
There's
was he
some things
fucking?
there that were just weird that
Just
weren't.
didn't make sense.
Yeah. Anyways,
And like, how do you
it's
outrun it? Like,
yeah, just some weird stuff that you could have probably like cleaned up a little bit, made it more believable.
ah, it's fine. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Right here.
Okay, sorry, I was clearing my throat.
Okay.
That was the extent of what my father told me about the incident in the woods. There's just one problem, however. My father lied. Oh.
Uh-oh.
When my mother died, I don't think my father felt he had anything left, and that he might as well settle on old scores. He returned to the woods and never came back either. The FBI was called, and they came and put on a show for everyone involved. But I knew they weren't really looking. I had to get an agent drunk and slip him a few 50s before he finally told me that, oh my god, that they got a few calls about those woods every year. About someone up and vanishing. But that was all he wanted to tell me. Before he got up and left with the rest of the team, he wrote the name they'd given the creature on a napkin, of course. I didn't realize that's what it was at first. It wasn't until I put the words in a search engine online that I understand what they meant. Honestly, I would have rather not known. As it turns out, there are hundreds of stories just like my father's, as well as the photos and drawings of the thing. Although the details vary, everyone who has encountered it agrees on one thing. It's still out there, and there isn't a man on earth that can stop it.
Damn. That I kind of want to know what the guy put on the napkin now. Also, do you know the rake is?
Yeah, I've heard of the rake.
Dude, I this photo is so fucking sick. Like, this is basically what the story is about. Is like this fucking thing,
Yeah.
bro. It's so sick. I actually like how that wrapped up. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was good. It had a couple issues that like don't like we were harping on a little bit, but like
There,
it doesn't make
there,
it bad.
yeah. The I think he brought it back at the end there. I'll be honest.
Yeah, he brought it back. He brought it back for sure. I think some of it was just maybe me reading it wrong, but I'm not really sure.
It's fair.
But I think it's a good place to call it. Maybe we'll come back tomorrow with something else. Maybe I think we want to do
Fresh.
another. I want to do another creature story. We're not sure what one yet. We're gonna figure it out. But
Yeah.
anyways, bye bye.